Welcome to BizFlow Tutorials. In this video, I will cover how to manage consignments in BizFlow. This feature is typically used by gun ranges. Let's get started. To begin, starting from the dashboard, head over to the options on the left, and under Order Management, you will click on the Consignments tab. On this screen, you will see three tabs. The Open tab will show all new consignments. The Close tab will show all completed and paid for consignments. And the third tab allows you to configure your consignments. At the Configuration tab, there are some defaults you can set, such as the default percentage you want for all consignment items. As well, you can add a status name or default product name to appear in the bound book for consigned items. Additionally, you can make a consignment confirmation required to be signed by the customer. Below, you can edit the text to add any terms of agreements in the case of a customer consignment authorization and pickup authorization. Lastly, you can add any staff members to receive a consignment sold notification. Make sure to save when completed. I will now show you how the default product name should be used in the system for consigned items. Navigate to the options on the left, and under Setup/Manage, you will click on Products from the dropdown. For consigned items, typically you do not want to create a new item each time, so you should have made a product with the name Firearms for Consignment. And to find that, you can search under the category titled Name and search for Firearms for Consignment. Here, in this example, we have already created a product with this name, and when clicking on it, you can see all of its details. This type of product should have serialized items, so make sure that box is checked. As well, when going into the Inventory tab, make sure the box is checked next to Ignore default firearm configuration for new firearms added. This makes sure that someone is manually inputting all information for every new consigned firearm added. If anything was changed, make sure to save. Another feature in BizFlow allows you to determine which bound book you want your consignment to be stored. When going into the FFL bound book tab and click on Configuration, next to Default Bound Book for Consignment, you can select which bound book you want your consigned items to be placed. Save if updated. Now I will show you how to create a new consignment. Going back to the main BizFlow page, and under Order Management, click on Consignments. We will begin at the Open tab. Let's say a customer or third party wants to sell you a firearm. That is when we will create a new consignment and click on the Add button. First, you will enter the customer's name, click on them, and their information will autofill. Since we have configured the product name to be Firearms for Consignment, this automatically will appear. And to add a new consigned firearm, we can click on the Add button. A new pop-up will appear, and we can go ahead and enter in the ATF required information. Let's say this firearm is a pistol, the manufacturer and importer are Glock, and the model will be a G22 with a 9mm caliber. Once that information is completed, you will move on to the consignment pricing. Here you can input a suggested selling or list price to be something like $500. And since the consignment margin is set to 30%, the cost of the firearm would be set to $350. As well, if you'd like, you can add a minimum sell price accepted by your business for that firearm. Then, once all information is completed, you will enter a serial number for this item, enter it again to verify, then hit save. Now that item will appear, and you can go back to edit any information by clicking on the red stripe icon next to the item name. As well, you can delete any items by clicking on the trash icon. If you would like to add any customer notes, you can do that here. Then you can select the preferred method of contact, whether it be by email, phone, or both, as well as a preferred time of contact. You can then select which staff member took the order. Now, once all information has been filled out, you can save. Now, an authorization by the customer needs to be signed. You can choose if you want the authorization to be sent to a kiosk or completed at the screen. In this instance, I will click on Get Authorization here, and at this screen you will see any terms of agreement up top, and the customer will input their first and last name, then sign and save. Now, at the bottom of the screen, you can see a new feature that was added, which shows the consignment notes, and that a firearm acquisition record has been created. Now you can save and close, and you can see that the new consigned firearm has been added. Let's say this firearm is going to be sold now to a new customer. You can go ahead and navigate to the POS by clicking on the Quick Access button up top. Now you can add the customer's name and select it. Then search for the product name, Firearms for Consignment, and select it. This pop-up is making sure a 4473 has been completed for this firearm. In this instance, I will say yes in order to proceed. Below you can see the firearm has been added, and you can go ahead and input the payment method, whether it be cash, check, or credit card. Then, once the payment information has been completed, you can check out. Now, at the invoice, the customer needs to sign the pickup confirmation. When clicking on it, they will have to input their first and last name, along with their signature. Then save. I will now show you what this looks like in the bound book. Going to the FFL Bound Book tab, you will click on Bound Book on the left, then Primary. At the top, you will see the most recent firearm we just sold. When clicking on its serial number, a new pop-up with its information will appear. If you click on the chain link symbol in the left-hand corner, it will show you the status of when the acquisition was created for this firearm, when it was consigned, and when its status was changed to sold. Even though the status has been updated to sold, the consignment has not been closed out. So, going back to the main BizFlow page, under Order Management, click on Consignments. You will see that this firearm is still open. So, go into its details, and from here you can change the status to Customer Contacted, and add the staff member who contacted the customer, then save. Now, once the customer has picked up the firearm, you can go ahead and change the status to completed. Then, when going back to the Consignments page, you can see that the firearm was moved to the Close tab. This completes a tutorial on how to manage consignments in the BizFlow platform. Thank you for watching.